This episode of the podcast is sponsored by David Shapiro, Remax Around Atlanta Realty. David Shapiro, Remax Around Atlanta Realty. The guy knows the whole perimeter. He knows inside the perim. He knows outside the perim. He knows around the hat brim. He can take you down to Clown Town. David Shapiro, Remax Around Atlanta Realty. Tash, who the hell we have on tonight?
We had Mike, Alex, and German from the city of Brooklyn in the band Nihiloceros. They're a three-piece who bring the house down. Check it out.
Fucking roll that tape.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Indiebnb. Tonight we're joined by Mike, Alex, and German from the band Nihiloceros, all the way from Brooklyn. What's going on, guys?
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
We are pumped to have y'all on. As we were just talking before we started, our friends in the Desert Sharks put us on to y'all, so we're glad to finally have y'all on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So let's, as we often do on this podcast, let's start at the beginning. How did Nihiloceros start?
Alex and I were playing in another band for a number of years that sort of evolved into what Nihiloceros is today. And there was a different drummer in that band who has since left. And then summer 2019, we were looking for a new drummer. German, we knew from other punk bands in the scene, and he was looking for a project. We were looking for a drummer. We got along in the past, so we figured we might be able to get along playing some music, and that's kind of how that started.
Okay. And what were who were some of y'all's biggest influence? Obviously you're looking at your man German here to come in, so he must have been an influence on the sounds you wanted.
Yeah.
But who are some other influences for Nihiloceros as whether either individually or as a band as a whole?
What do you guys think?
Oh, like individually, I would say growing up, I used to listen to I still listen to a lot of metal, but in terms of like famous bands, I think Dillinger Escape Plan was always sort of there for me, and kind of like captured the kind of energy that I always enjoyed really well. And it kind of sucks that they broke up kind of recently, but that was, I would say, one of my biggest influences as a drummer, especially that sort of energetic, sort of technical drumming. Even though I try not to play technically like that, I think it's always sort of really interesting to listen to how creative they are with the drummer. All the drummers in that band were. But yeah, so yeah, for me.
German, did you go to those final shows?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Glenn was at all those too. So I know it was a huge deal in New York when that happened.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know he liked it.
Yeah, it's his favorite band. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And that's the whole other
weird.
thing. Yeah.
That's so weird. You find your drummers based on their influences, huh?
Yeah.
I see it now. Okay.
But for you, Mike?
I mean, Jawbreaker is a big one for me. Always. Nirvana, Elastica, Placebo, a lot of like the sort of like, punky indie bands from the 90s are a lot of what, I sort of gravitate towards when I'm putting chords together.
And Alex?
Yeah, I guess for me it'd be like Violent Femmes, Fugazi, Dead Milkmen. That's sort of what I was really into when I first started playing, and I think informs a lot of what I like to play still.
Yeah, and people always get kind of hung up on that question because I know people don't sit. You never sit down and say like, all right, we're going to go out and make an album that sounds just like this band. But how do you see some of these artists showing up in your music? Just probably subconsciously, like just by the way you write.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think the cool thing about the three of us is, while we all have our own like favorite bands, I think we all like all of the bands that I think we named where we all we all like. So it's like we all have sort of our favorite pockets or where we sort of like go to as a songwriter, but the overlap as to I think the things that we're all kind of into creates, you know, cool pockets for us to sort of create what's us out of those things.
Yeah. What is sort of the you know, songwriting process for you?
It's a couple of different ways. I mean, we tend, Alex or I usually come with some sort of an idea, be it on guitar or synth or bass or something, or some sort of like vocal melody. And then we sort of build off of that. And then, you know, we tend to demo things and bounce them back and forth and then get them in the room. And then we, you know, take them apart and put them back together and try them 100 different ways before things start to sound, you know, a little bit more or less like something that we would write together.
Yeah. And has that, have you seen a big change, you know, since with all the lockdowns and COVID of, you know, really sending each other stuff a lot more?
I wouldn't say more because I don't know, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but we kind of, I think we, I don't know how if other bands do this as much as we do, but we kind of already did that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it was sort of easy for us to continue doing what we did as songwriters because we were already that was sort of already our process.
Oh, okay.
And Gurman doesn't listen to anything you send him, so that's sort of a waste of time.
Yeah, it's you know, you got to start playing it, feel it in the moment when you first play it live, and then that's how I add my part. Sometimes I listen.
I think between those two, those processes coming together is what makes our stuff good. You know, I think left to our own devices, Alex and I would demo things to death, and then, you know, I think that's important, but then I also think it's important to like get them in the room and play them live and figure out what, you know, something can sound good on your phone, but it might not necessarily sound good once you start playing it. And you kind of only figure those things out when you do both of those things.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that you just, you know, you get the garage band drummer until you go to the, you know, live show and the German just throws that away. I got her from here.
Those garage band drummers are getting better and better though.
They are. They're intense.
Yeah. They're watching.
Yeah, look out.
One thing I do always like to kind of, it interests me, especially since y'all been sort of doing this, what we just talked about longer than most bands, is how do you prevent yourself, like how do you lock in on a sound, like, you know, prevent yourself from tinkering? Because in this day and age, you can tinker, you know, until you go mad. So, you know, how do you lock in and say, all right, here's our sound, here's what we're going to do for this song?
I think where we're different makes that happen. Where I think our levels of patience and our different levels of attention to detail, I think again, sort of overlap in a way that works. Like I'm far less patient than Alex is. And I think his threshold for the level of things to suck is far lower than mine is. So like, I probably would let more crappy things into our songs if it wasn't for Alex being like, no, that's garbage. And I think I have more of a sense of immediacy on things where I need to get things out. So I think between like both stalling and rushing, we tend to sort of find that happy middle ground.
Yeah. And what's you know, what's the recording process like for y'all? Do y'all do it bit by bit, or do y'all kind of try to do it live, or how do y'all go about that?
We've never really done it live. We've done it a number of ways over the past. We've done the full album in the studio. We've done DIY stuff. I think we sort of found a nice spot that works for us, where it's like, what can you do yourself? What makes sense to pay someone else to do? Something like recording drums is hard to do on your own, because just having an interface with enough inputs to mic the drums, or a room that makes drums sound good, you kind of need to be in a studio for. So you'd rather allocate money towards making sure the drums sound good in a studio, where with technology these days, and Alex has got a cool setup down in the basement, we can pretty much do guitar and bass and vocals. We did a lot of that for this last record here in the house, just because you can. And then again, sort of like work with someone or pay someone to mix and master, you know, in the way that, you know, you want to be involved in that process, but, you know, somebody else can probably do that better than we can. So I think we do a little bit of this and a little bit of that to make sure we're maximizing, you know, cost and time and quality.
Yeah.
Also, we have done one live recording.
It's true. we did. Are you talking about the direct to vinyl?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a
played a few
direct
songs
vinyl.
like 5 times in a row.
Yeah. That was wild. I had never done that. It was this little place in Brooklyn that has like an old 1950s like cutting lathe to vinyl. So you go in and everything's pre-order. So everybody pre-orders all these ahead of time. And so you know how many you're doing when you go in. We did like 36 tracks, and basically each one is a live cut. There we go. It's cut directly. You play the song live. It gets cut directly to vinyl, and at the end of the 3 minutes, the vinyl's done, and they ship them out to the people who ordered them.
Wow,
that's cool.
It's like the original NFT.
Yeah. It's a vinyl NFT. All right.
We're gonna have to shut this podcast down now because I don't understand NFTs. So
I don't either. It's probably not an NFT.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the EP a little bit. Self-Destroy. I thought it was cool. The way we got to meet y'all was through Desert Sharks, and y'all got Stephanie Gunther on a few songs. Talk about that.
Yeah, one of the cool things about, part of the history of this record is we had started some of the songs and whatever before the pandemic, and it sort of slowly turned into this like concept record about like, the unraveling of the human condition and the end of the world and like what comes after people and all that kind of stuff. And then the pandemic hit, which felt oddly prophetic. And so we put a pause on everything. We had the drums tracked, and we thought we had the 6 songs written as they were, and we were rushing to get it out in 2020. Right after Gurman had joined the band, we had a different person actually plays drums on the record, because right at that time, our old drummer had left. We didn't have a drummer. We had shows lined up. Gurman hopped on and started playing shows with us. The other guy was recording the record with us. We didn't know what was going on. And then it ended up being, we had blasted through the rest of 2019, and Gurman was our drummer. So we thought we had this like tour planned and a record release in 2020 and all these things. And in lockstep with what we normally do, everything moves very quickly. You're rushing to get everything out. And what happened with the pandemic was it allowed us to sort of like take a beat, pause on it for months when we didn't know what we were doing as a band, and revisit the record months later. And we had rewritten a lot of things and taken the time not only to like write it properly, because we like undid a lot of the stuff that was already done, rewrote lyrics, rewrote parts, rewrote melodies. And Stephanie and I had been talking about doing like a guest vocal or a songwriting collaboration like years ago from Punk Island. And between like, having the time, and a couple other friends came on and did collaborations with us too. That's like the product of just having time that we wouldn't have otherwise had to put out the record that we ended up putting out.
I gotcha.
It's like a happy accident. I'm so glad it happened.
Yeah. Let's jump right into your, off of that EP, the song Spotlight that we chose, I Am an Animal. So, walk us through that song from beginning to end, from recording to writing to what it's about. And Grant will probably ask you some questions about the video after this.
Cool. I Am an Animal is actually the first track that we had written for the record. We'd actually been playing, that was the only one that we had been playing as a band prior to like 2020, and like starting to track the rest of the songs. So that one had already been sort of in the rotation. We were testing it out as a new song. And it sort of has 2 origin points from a songwriting standpoint, and I don't remember which one came first, but Alex had texted me this memoji of like the, with the unicorn where you do your face and it can talk in your voice. I think him and his wife have been texting back and forth and he sent it to me, and it's him as a unicorn going, I am an animal. And that I just thought was really catchy and really funny. And we at the same time, we were writing a song that sort of had a chord progression, is that 3-chord chord progression. And the chorus idea that I had that like dun, dun, dun for like a vocal melody. And I had just recently had that text from him, and the whole like, na, 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 I am an animal felt like a really cool call and response when you shifted the vocal lines over. So that's sort of how that chorus came about and then turned into that song. And like thematically, from like a lyrical standpoint, it was sort of the foundation, like that line, because sometimes it's just like a random line becomes like I am an animal turns into like, that's a hook. Like that's the hook. So what can we write as a band that makes this song about something? And around that same time, my wife and I were having dinner, and we were talking about just like, the span of human existence and how people exist in these times before like written history or before modern technology, and how we all want to be remembered, and there's this legacy. And so like people who like were born and lived whole lives and died before there was like the internet or before there was television or archived records of their lives. So like, what is legacy? Why do we build these cities and write these books and sing these songs? Because everybody wants to be remembered. And the whole I am an animal sort of was like, when do we cross that line from being like animals into these self-aware creatures who live these lives in the sense to want to do something or leave their like mark on this world, so that after they're gone, people can remember what they did. It's a very like, I don't know, self-centered, human-centric like desire in all of us. That's why we have families and build things and write things and say things. And then that sort of turned into the concept of the record, where it's like, when you pull out far enough in time, like, does it all become meaningless? Because after we die. Oh, sorry. The conversation that started that was my wife is talking about that concept where you really die the last person someone speaks your name. So I started thinking about how after you die, after people forget you, after like pages of a book fade or buildings fall, if you go out 1,000,000 years, anything we've made, anything we've created, anything that we've said is gone. So there will come a time when you're dead, and there will come a time when someone will speak your name for the last time, and there will come a time that no matter what you've created will either be gone or unable to be seen or understood. And doesn't that make this like finite moment of your life kind of meaningless? And that was sort of the precipice of the song, which then turned into the concept of the record.
I'm gonna sleep well tonight. Thinking about that.
Nothing fucking matters. Let's go. Like, love it. Wow. I want to come have dinner at your house. Man, that's a lot. It's a lot to take in. Well, like, in terms of the video, man, like, how did you guys want to convey that whole message, that, the origin of the song into, a visual representation? And like, I watched some of it, and, there's a lot of lights, and some first person at the beginning, somebody's breathing heavily, and we're running, and you can hear those sticks cracking and everything. But like, just take me through like the creative process in that video as well.
You guys want to take this, or you want me to do
it? I think, Mike, you're better at explaining this.
All right. Just want to make sure I'm not stealing the conversation from everybody. We all met here at the house to like talk about sort of concepts. So we storyboarded for like a weekend. And Jen Meller, one of our friends who does like great photography and cinematography, she's a director and photographer and animator and everything. We wanted to work with her because her work is fantastic. And we wanted Jillian from Shadow Monster, Jillian Visco, who sings on the track, because she also is an actor. So we thought utilizing her acting skills and also the fact that she's one of the vocalists on the track would be, kind of a cool way to not have us be in the video the whole time, because it gets boring to watch just a band pretending like they're playing music to a track in a video. So we wanted to be in it as little as possible, but with still being in it. And we thought, because just to lay out the dynamics, where I am right now is Alex's house. Alex, we rent the upstairs from Alex, so we have this whole 3 floors of a house to use. It's a cool old house that has cool like nooks and crannies and layout and doors and stuff like that. So we sort of storyboarded the idea of like the whole idea of like being a human is like sort of like this self-domesticated, trapped version of being the animal that we came from. So we wanted to create this whole sort of idea that Jillian's like the character in the story that is like in the loop of human. So she's like jogging and like athleisure wear or whatever it is that people jog in, and then she trips and falls into, like, she actually falls in right here, to this house, which is like the strange world that this thing exists in, where she's like trying to escape the cycle of like this whole idea, right? So we basically spent the whole day, because Jen did it, other than that very beginning shot where she's running in the park, which we filmed separately. The rest of the video is filmed in one shot throughout the house. So we storyboarded it for one day and like talked about like how we wanted to convey that idea, and we threw out a million different things that weren't the video and some ideas related to this and that, and we landed on what we wanted to do. And then the day of the shoot, it was last summer and it was super hot, so it was a long day. We showed up early in the morning, and the thing about shooting which I've never done a one shot video before, is you have to choreograph it. Most of the day is choreographing it to see like how it works. So we dressed the house a bit to have the lights and like stuff to like look the way we wanted it to. And then we figured out we had to time the song, because you have so much time from when the track starts to when the track ends to get through the whole house and get to from where you want, and you want to cross the band at the right times, and then, you know, make sure everything like lines up right. So we spent, I don't know, 4 hours figuring out like who needs to stand where and how to like for people to cross behind camera or go through this door or that door, so that we end up like in different places at the right time and don't cross in front of the camera. So the whole idea, because there's like these two weird doors up here that lead to the staircase, is that she crosses us one time and then the camera follows her, but then we sneak out this back door, so that when she's down on the stairs, then she like, you know, gets the key from Alex, and then Alex is in the basement with us, so then we're all in the basement. So it's this whole like play on, you know, so it was a lot of that. So we did that for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and then we figured out like what to do, and then we had like, I don't know, like 2 hours until sunset to get the shot before, you know, Alex's baby had to go to bed, and we also, you know, lost the sunlight. So I think we did it like maybe we filmed it 5 times all the way through. So it's a one shot, and like 3 of them we messed up. Like the person got trapped behind after the camera turned and couldn't get to where they needed to be, or we just like were way behind and the song was over before we even got downstairs. Like, so there was a couple that were just like, this one can't be used. And I think 2 of them were usable, and the one we used was just the best of the 2 so it was like a whole day of prep, and then we just mad shot it. Yeah.
Like it was
a lot of fun. I'd never done anything like that before.
The logistics of like, all right, like you got to go through this door, but then like, oh, nope, now we can't do this. Like, I can't imagine having like.
German shot a lot of cell phone. German shot a lot of back behind the scenes like cell phone footage of like what it looked like from like if you just set up a camera and you saw everyone running around like behind the stuff. It's crazy.
You should have had it. You should have had that set up and then just been able to like really play it like on like a super fast speed, and it was like, oh shit, yeah. It's going around again. Like, that's awesome. Well, cool. I mean, like, you know, for obviously, you know, Tash and I haven't had the pleasure of seeing you guys live. You kind of transitioned more to your live set. Like, what do you want somebody to take away from one of your live shows? You know, what is it like? What should I be expecting? What should I be, you know, looking forward to? And like taking you through like what that vision is for you guys.
I want everybody to feel our energy, to be honest. I just want everybody to like, I don't know, when somebody comes to see you play, I think to me, it's always like, it's energizing to me. And I also want to like project that energy through my instrument to the crowd, you know, maybe get them moving as much as possible. Even if it's like between songs, you know, sometimes we'll play a little backbeat or something, just to like get some people in the crowd just to kind of move around. So I just want people to like feel good, sort of high energy, you know, when they come to see our show. Plus we play really loud. So I think that also sort of helps thrash people a little bit, get them moving, you know.
Yeah.
I second all of that. I agree with all of that.
Does Alex?
Yeah, man. I just want people to have a good time.
All right. Very good. Hey, well, that's awesome. Like, I guess you guys have like a favorite venue that you guys play at, you know, regularly, or like you have, you know, like a home base that you like kind of go off of, or do you have some favorites that you know, that stick out to you in your mind that like, God damn, that was a sick show. We had a really good time there.
I don't know. I feel like we should all answer this question because I don't think any of us have a favorite venue. There's so many venues in New York that are great for a number of reasons. I think we got the chance to play. We we were lucky to play a lot of shows in 2021. We haven't toured since 2019, but we got to play a lot more shows than I think a lot of bands got to in last year, which we're super fortunate. And a lot of that stuff was a lot of rooftops and backyards and DIY spots when the venues weren't open yet. So we did a lot of outdoor things, and then, you know, the venues are all open now. So we've been doing that a lot as well. But just to sort of not speak on the venues so much as some of the DIY spots that I really like, East Williamsburg Econo Lodge and places like Pet Rescue are some of the great, you know, spots that have been open DIY wise in Brooklyn for a long time, that do, you know, make sure that touring bands get paid, make sure people get to the shows, and sort of very organically have a, you know, sort of a following in themselves.
Cool.
I definitely love basement shows. I think that's my favorite type of venue.
Yeah. Our last show before the pandemic was at a basement show called The Willow. And it was a crazy show, crazy packed show. It was the weekend. It was the Saturday before the entire world shut down. And all the bands were heavy and fast and, you know, great. It was like one of those sweaty basement beer all over the place, crowd surfing shows. It was like wall to wall packed. And it was one of those shows because like right after that, everything got canceled. And I remember thinking that if that's the last show I ever get to play as a musician, I could die happy.
Wow.
And that's basement shows.
All right. Alex, what about you?
I really like the rooftop at Our Wicked Lady.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, sound there's fantastic. That's where we did our an Animal release show.
Yeah, there was like thunder and lightning and shit in the background.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. You didn't get rained on, did you?
No, but right after our set, at the very end, I didn't even know the storm came out of nowhere. So we're on this roof and the storm's going on behind us. And we didn't even know until afterwards, but all the video that we saw afterwards has this crazy lightning storm going on behind us. And right after our set, it must have been during the last song, the rain started coming in sideways because a lot of the rooftops covered. But then it started coming in sideways. And I was like, oh, wait, when did this? So the next band had to play with like rain, like coming in on the side of them. Oh, it was a crazy night. It was great.
That's awesome. Well, appreciate y'all sharing that, you know, some of that live venue. And, you know, there's just things that like S2 that, you know, visit New York, you know, every now and then we need to come and check out some of these cool venues. But we'll get to Pete Peterson's party pack of questions. It's 20 questions right in a row. So we can go Mike, Alex, and Garmin. We'll go that way. And so it's going to be just this or that. You answer real quick. Speed is the key. So here we go. Pete Peterson's party pack questions. 20 questions right in a row. Here we go. Cake or pie?
Pie.
Cake.
Pie.
All right. Ninja or pirate? What would you rather be?
Ninja.
Yeah.
Ninja.
Nice.
Okay. All right. When you sit down and put on your streaming services nowadays, what are you putting on? Hulu or Netflix?
Ooh.
Netflix.
So I'm gonna go Netflix, but Hulu's got better TV.
True.
Does it?
True.
Interesting.
Hulu's got a lot of
He's
sports.
not asking which is better. He's asking what you put on.
Both. I have like 9 streaming apps on my TV. I got everything. I got the Peacock. I got the Paramount Plus. I got the
Speed.
the Tubi. What?
Do you have speed? These questions are about speed.
Question's over. This is
I think everybody lost.
question.
All right. Chips or pretzels? What would you have?
Chips.
Chips.
Chips
More
across the
variety.
board. All right. Red wine or white wine? What would you rather have a glass of?
Red wine.
I don't drink anymore, but it would depend on what I'm eating.
Okay.
Red.
Red.
Gotta pick
All right.
one.
White.
White. Lower alcohol content in that one. So, Brooklyn Steel or Brooklyn Bowl? What do you like better?
I've played Brooklyn Bowl, so I'm going to say Brooklyn Steel because I want to play Brooklyn Steel, so I can check it off my list.
Brooklyn Steel.
Steel. All right. Waffles or pancakes? What do you like better?
Waffles.
Pancakes.
Waffles.
Okay. All right. Night in or night out? What would you rather have?
Out.
Out.
I don't know.
thought Mike was
I'm
supposed to
losing
go
on
first.
speed again. Yeah, night out. Night out.
Night out. All right. We like going out. I like it. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
What would you rather have?
Coffee. I need coffee. Tea's like for fun, but coffee is a necessity.
I'm drinking
All right.
coffee right now.
All right.
German, you're gonna be up all night.
That's okay.
You guys ever heard of these things called circus peanuts? These orange peanuts that you can get at gas stations.
Oh, yeah.
They taste like bananas. You guys heard of those?
Mhm.
Sort of looks like
Any-
an orange marshmallow peanut,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Any of y'all fans of those?
Mm-mm.
Never
No?
never seen them before. I live under a
Never
rock.
seen
I'm sorry.
Never seen them. Never have. Hey, it's okay. No, it's that's really more of the psycho. See who else is a psycho with me? Because like apparently nobody likes those. So
I don't like
other
them.
than
I gotta try
myself.
them.
They're like
I'm gonna
I
give
put them in the
try.
same category as candy corn. People
Candy
like
corn,
candy
yeah.
corn. I don't like candy corn either.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. Hey, do you guys believe in magic,
In what sense?
wizards, and witches?
No.
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 All right, I like it. Beach or pool? What are you gonna go lay by?
Beach.
Yeah. I'm gonna say pool.
I don't know. I'm gonna say pool because I have less opportunities to go to pools than I do beaches.
I like it. Okay. All right. Peaches or apples? Which
Peach.
which you like
Peaches.
better?
Peaches.
Apples.
Apples. Okay. All right.
Apple day keeps the
Salad.
doctor away.
Exactly. Salad or soup? What are you
Salad.
ordering off the menu?
Soup.
Salad.
Salad.
All right. Okay. Ranch or blue cheese?
Ranch.
Blue cheese.
Blue
Ranch.
cheese.
I like it. Donuts or bagels?
Donuts.
Surprising. New York's for the best bagels.
No.
They do. I don't get enough good donuts around here though.
Yeah.
Very few good donut places.
A good donut beats a good bagel. I like them both, but a good donut is.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
I like it. Daily Provisions is my favorite donut in New York. So I can attest there are great donuts in New York.
Wait, Alex, what did you say? Did you say donuts?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like bagels, but man, a New York bagel, that's some heavy shit, man.
Yeah.
A loaf of bread. It's a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Is love at first sight real?
Sure.
Yes, but I think people who claim to know it at the time is bullshit.
Yeah.
I think you only know later, like oh yeah, you know what I did. Love that
Love
person.
it more like love at hindsight.
Yeah, there we go. That's it.
Yes.
I'm gonna use that.
That's a
Hey,
new song.
that one's free. You got it. All right. You guys walk into a party. Your jam comes on. You got your dancing shoes on. You doing the robot or the worm? Which one are you more likely to do?
Worm.
Robot.
The worm. All right. We got some worms and we got some.
Wait,
robots.
German, did you say German Worman?
Yeah, we're
German
Yeah,
stays
come on.
worming. I like it. All right. We'll get one from each of you guys on this one. This is the final question of Pete Peterson's party pack of questions. What is a band that we might not know that we ought to check out? Similar to how the Desert Sharks paid it forward here, what is a band we might not know that we ought to check out and see their music and listen to them?
I'm gonna say Hey Baby, because Hey Baby's been one of my favorite New York bands for a lot of years, and because we're playing a show with them soon.
All right.
What about Spite Fucks?
Yeah.
Spite Fox.
Yeah, it's
That's what it- that's what it-
FUXX. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll say Shelter Dogs.
Shelter Dogs.
Nice. Oh, I think I have their tape. I have their tape right up there. Hold on, let me do a little bit of representing too. I have this nice collection of tapes from all the local bands, and this one is Shelter Dogs.
Shelter Dogs.
Solid tape.
Crashing a Party. I like it. We'll have to give Crashing a Party a listen. Well, This has been a party. The Pete Peterson party pack of questions. I will send it back over to Tash to wrap this thing up in a bow.
Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, it's been a pleasure having you all on. To all of the listeners out there, go check these guys out on March 3rd at the Sultan Room in New York. Go check them out March 31st at the Broadway in Brooklyn. Their new EP, Self-Destroys, out everywhere. Mike, Alex, German, it has been a blast having you all on. And Grant and I hope we can see y'all play live soon.
Thanks. Yeah, we should come to
It's
Atlanta.
really fun.
Exactly.
Come on down.
You can play the Masquerade and bring the house down.
Bleed.
Yeah, love it.
All right.
All right.
Well, you guys take it easy.
All right, man. Peace.